Everybody, and welcome to another terrible theory. This theory doesn't feel too terrible, though. Now this is like the third time I'm doing it. I'm making this theory, but this time there's something different. So it is once again the theory that Hyrule Warriors, the original Hyrule Warriors, is part of the Zelda canon. And is, in fact, a prequel to Age of Calamity. Never mind the fact that they're both Hyrule Warriors games, and made by the same team. But in the story of Breath of the Wild, we hear about how in ancient times, in 10,000 years ago, there was a war against the Calamity. There was a war which ended in Calamity Ganon being sealed away. And this was before Ganon became the Calamity. Ganon was later released, but by then they had created the Divine Beasts. Hyrule had created the Divine Beasts and the Guardians and managed to defeat Ganon. And then here we go in Age of Calamity. They have the Divine Beasts back out. They're ready. And Calamity Ganon, of course, according to Breath of the Wild, wipes the floor with everybody and just wrecks everyone's day. So that's the story we know from Breath of the Wild. My theory is that Hyrule Warriors was that original war that led to Ganon being sealed away and later becoming the Calamity. That his defeat in this game is what led to him becoming the Calamity. And I've gone into why I think this for the last two videos that I made about this. But one of the big reasons is simply because of because of the Champion's Tunic in Breath of the Wild, where it said that an ancient hero once wore it. None of the Links in the past have ever worn blue, except for Hyrule Warriors Link, with that blue scarf and a similar pattern on it to the Champion's Tunic. And on top of that, Dark Beast Ganon in Breath of the Wild and Ganon in Hyrule Warriors have incredibly similar designs. And for the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, when we see Ganondorf's corpse, he has a red mohawk. He has a red mohawk with mullet. That's what it's called. A mullet, not a mohawk. Jeez, Ganon with a mohawk. Jeez, that'd be weird. A mullet. He has a fabulous mullet. And a crown with 5 points and a gem at the center. That is what we see in both Twilight Princess and Hyrule Warriors. And I believe that Hyrule Warriors is something that combines all three timelines. All three timelines into fusing into one timeline thanks to Hyrule Warriors. Which explains why all three timelines seem to be converged in Breath of the Wild. The Ritos and the Zoras are living together in harmony, even though the Ritos are supposed to be evolution Great Sea, even though this version of Hyrule was never buried in the ocean. It explains all the it explains all of the different all the different world details that you would only see in the Downfall timeline. All three timelines seem to be merged into this game. So what happened? What merged them in the first place? I've covered this twice before, and I know Matt Pat last year did a theory on it as well. So I'm going to just read this real quick. I have Age of Calamity on right now, and I'm going to read what the description says for the Hyrule Warriors tunic. A green tunic said to have been the prized possession of a hero who scoured across many worlds. It seems to fit you perfectly. This right here, Age of Calamity, a canon Zelda game. That the Hyrule Warriors tunic belongs to an ancient hero that scoured across many worlds. It just confirmed that Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity are connected. They share the same timeline. And Age of Calamity shares the same timeline as Breath of the Wild. It's all connected. This right here, this was the missing piece. That information, those two sentences, and my Switch is about to die. Those two sentences, that's all we needed. That alone confirms Hyrule Warriors is canon. It is canon to Age of Calamity. It happened years ago. Years before Age of Calamity. And Age of Calamity is a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It is canon, people. Stop denying it. The biggest argument that people seem to have against this whole theory is that it's not a Nintendo-made game. That it was made by a third party, and that's why it's not allowed to be canon. Your argument is now invalid. Age of Calamity is a third-party game made by third-party developers, and it is canon to the Zelda timeline. Your argument is now invalid. So, there you have it. All the proof I needed. Hyrule Warriors is canon to the Zelda timeline. That's all I needed. So with that, I can't wait to see how Breath of the Wild 2 expands on this fourth timeline. So we now have the United timeline. So we now have the United timeline. Then we have the timeline split with the Downfall timeline, Child timeline, and Adult timeline. At the end of each of those, Hyrule Warriors brings them all together to a unified timeline. And it goes Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Breath of the Wild, and then Breath of the Wild 2 when that comes out, hopefully this year. So, there you have it. I don't think I need to say much else. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Do you think that Hyrule Warriors is connected to the timeline? Do you think that it is canon? Let me know in the comment box below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm just happy to be able to play as the Hyrule Warriors Link in Age of Calamity. I just think that's really cool. And the moment I unlocked that thing and saw and read the description of it, I immediately knew I had to make a video about it. Since it just confirms what I've been saying for years. But let me know what you guys think. Have you gotten the Hyrule Warriors tunic yet? And I suppose that's going to be it for Age of Calamity videos. I don't really have anything else to say about the game. It's an incredibly fun game. I really love it. I had an absolute blast playing this thing. It was just so much fun. I mean, I could go on for a bit about like my complaints with the story, but you know, it is what it is, and at the very least, it did give us context. There was an actual canon story being told there. An actual canon story being told there in Age of Calamity. And anyone who knows the full lore of Breath of the Wild will be able to tell when things differ. Like, obviously the champions were supposed to die, and Master Koga was supposed to abandon Suga when they faced off against Astor and stuff like that. Details that were clearly altered in this version of events. So it like with that we still have the context, so we know what would have happened if it had actually gone all the way. But you know, given how Nintendo had a huge hand in Age of Calamity, they didn't want these champions to die because family friendly. Hello, Nishik. But yeah, so that's all I've got. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to let me know in the comment box below what you think about this theory. And I guess I'll see you all next week for more streaming videos. We're gonna get back to Spider-Man on the PS4, so it's gonna be awesome. All right, well, that's gonna do it for me. So take care, everybody. Stay beautiful.